Hello everybody, welcome back to Bandwagon Sports, and today I'm going to be talking about a 2024 draft-eligible goaltender, the next best European draft-eligible goaltender. You had Askarov, you had Wallstedt, and this time it is a Finnish goaltender by the name of Emil Vinny. And Emil Vinny is 15 years old. I'm going to go over all his stats today. I'm going to actually be making a pretty interesting player comparison for him as well, and we're going to get to discover this player. We're going to get to, know Emil Vinny a lot more, and hopefully when this video is done, you're going to know a lot more about the next best generational goaltender in Emil Vinny. So let's get this video underway. So the first thing I want to talk about with Emil Vinny, and sorry for the quick camera flip, they're just so bright over by the window. So again, back on track now. The thing with Emil Vinny, we're going to go over all his intangibles. He was born December 18th, 2005 in Vanta, Finland. He played for EVU, that's his youth team. Catches left. He's 6'2", 163 at the moment, and that's going to be important later on. He's 15 years old, and he's 6'2". This is a big kid, someone who has size on him already at such a young age. And what really interests me with Emil Vinny is when looking at his junior stats for this year, he played in the U18 league this year for Finland. 13 games played in the U18 league, actually. And as a 15-year-old playing in the U18s, that's a pretty considerable age gap. You're playing against, a +3 year kind of differential there. And for a 15-year-old goaltender like Emil, that might be very stressful, but no, he locked it down in those 13 games played. He had a 2 goals against average, which really doesn't matter at all to me. What I'm really looking at here is the .934 save percentage, and that was excellent. I mean, you cannot ask for better than a .934 for a 15-year-old playing in a 18-year-old league in Finland. And the Finnish leagues, the U20, the U18, some of the weaker ones out there, I would say probably the third best in in Europe. You obviously have the Russian U18 leagues and all that as number 1. I would say Sweden number 2 and Finland number 3. So still very, very great numbers there. I don't know the win-loss total because it doesn't show it here, but the .934 save percentage is what we have to go off. Excellent year for Emil Vinny with that +3 year age gap. He really proved that he could play in that U18 league. And he even had 1 game in the U20 league at the end of the year. And in that game, he posted a .955 save percentage and only had 1 goal against. So I'm gonna really be happy, and I'm really gonna be expecting Emil Vinny to be playing in the U20s next year as a 16-year-old goaltender. And that is just crazy to me. He's gonna be playing with some of the top prospects in next year's draft. In that U20 league, I would assume. So now let's get on with my player comparison, because I think the player I have Emil Vinny compared to, it's a very strong comparison, and that is Boston Bruins goaltender Tuukka Rask. I don't know if he's going to be playing this year because he doesn't have a contract, I'm pretty sure. But the intangibles and the numbers that these two put up in their junior careers have been pretty similar. Tuukka Rask, 6'3", 176 pounds. Emil Vinny, 6'2", about 165, if you remember. So definitely room for Emil Vinny to grow into a Tuukka Rask frame, and I do believe Emil Vinny can get to around 6'4", 6'5" by the time he's done growing, because he is only 15, remember. This is a kid who still has probably a year or 2 of growth in front of him. So already being 6'2" is going to work very well to his advantage. He has decent weight as well for being as young as he is at 165, so that's really good. And Tuukka Rask, in his draft -1 year, Tuukka Rask was drafted in 2005, but in 2003, 2004, when he is 16, 17, in the U18 leagues, Rask played 9 games. He had a .281 goals against average and a .921 goals against average. So what right now you're really thinking Emil Vinny at a potential 2-year age gap than Tuukka Rask. And I want to say the U18 in Finland is a lot stronger than it is back then as well when Tuukka Rask played. I'm not totally sure about that, but the U18 and the U20 development is definitely a lot better, in my opinion, back rather than 15 years ago. So a .921 in 9 games, still very impressive, still good for a 16, 17-year-old goaltender. But when you're talking about a 15-year-old goaltender putting up .935 numbers in the same league as Tuukka Rask a year earlier, that's pretty insane. And in his draft year, In the U20s, Tuukka Rask played 26 games. He had a .935 save percentage, which is why he got drafted in the first round into the Toronto Maple Leafs. And even in his draft minus 1 year, U20, 26 games played in the U20s, had a .936 save percentage. Very impressive numbers. So, and also Tuukka Rask flourished at the international level. So really what we're looking at here is a goaltender who is still 3 years out of being drafted. That's obvious. But a goaltender who nonetheless I think has a very interesting development path. I think Emil Vinny is far ahead of his development from where he should be, and I do believe you could project Emil Vinny to be a potential Tuukka Rask-looking goaltender when he gets drafted, and definitely a first-round potential talent in that 2024 draft class, with guys like Aaron Kiviharju coming out of Finland as well, and I have another player who I'm going to be talking about coming out of the 2024 draft class in the next couple weeks. But let's just go over some of Tuukka Rask's numbers just for comparison, in case you guys don't know Tuukka Rask. 2014-15, 70 games played, .922 save percentage. 15-16, 64 games played, .915. 65 games played the next year, .915 as well. This year struggled a little bit at the beginning, turned it around. 24 games played, .913. So he's definitely on the back end of his career. Tuukka Rask is 34 years old at the time of recording this, so definitely on the back end. But Emil Vinny, definitely a player who I think could pretty seamlessly take the reins from Tuukka Rask as the best Finnish netminder in the NHL. Just like that. There is UC Saros, which, you know, he still has a little bit to prove, but Emil Vinny, be on the lookout for him. This is a guy who I definitely expect to play at the U20 level this year, probably 20-30 games played there. So let's hope he doesn't struggle there. If he plays in the U18 and he struggles in the U20, potentially a guy who, I don't know, I could potentially see definitely dropping in the draft stock, but we will see. Only time will tell. He's still 3 years away from being drafted. So without further ado, thank you all so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next prospect report, and yeah, see you later.